Hey guys, so we are on day 2 of lesson 113, and we're actually going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to start talking about linear representation. So by the end of this lesson, you should refamiliarize yourself with slope-intercept form of equations, and you should also be able to make a table, graph, and an equation from some kind of scenario, and that's what we're going to be starting with here. So let's say that Marlon is saving money from a new job, which is something I'm sure many of you guys have experienced. He starts a savings account with $25, and then each week he plans to add in another $20, right? So we're going to go ahead and make a table that represents that. We'll put week up here, and then we'll put the money down here. All right, so we know the weeks go from 0 to 5. So we can go ahead and label these. Okay, and then let's do the money row next. So at week 0, which is the starting week, he put in $25. So we know that his account started with $25 that week. Then, for week 1, he added $20, which gives him $45. Added another 20, he was at $65. Added another 20, $85, another 20, $105, and then another 20 for a total of $125. Okay, so now that we've made our table here, we can go ahead and make our graph. Now here's the thing you have to think about when you're making the graph. We have to label this ourselves, and so we need to make sure everything fits. Now, we'll always put the weeks on the bottom because time units always typically go on the bottom of your graphs. So we can just label these down here, week 0, week 1, week 2. Notice how I'm spacing them out a little bit with 2 boxes. I'm doing that because I can, just because there's enough space for it. It'll just make for a neater graph. Okay, so got my weeks 0 through 5. Don't forget to label your axes to let us know that we're talking about weeks here. So my other side is going to be the money. So the thing is, we have to fit all the way up to 125 here. So we can't go up by ones, right? Because there's definitely not 125 boxes. So my suggestion would be to go up by 10. Okay, so we can start with 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I know this is probably not the most exciting thing for you guys to watch me do, but it's important that you guys see it. All right, I'm just going to leave that. Almost there. All right, we can stop at 130 because we made it to the 125. All right, and let's make sure we label our axis. We know that this is the money axis. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot our points now. Okay, at week 0, we had $25. So at 0, we'll plot 25, right between 20 and 30. At week 1, we had $45. So we'll go there. Week 2, we had 65. Week 3, we had 85. Then we had 105. And lastly, we had 125. Okay, once you've plotted your points, you're free to draw your line. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put an arrow on the end of that line to show that we could keep going, but we're just going to stop here. All right, so now we have our table, we have our graph. The last piece is our equation. Now, linear equations are most commonly found in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. I'm sure you guys have heard that many, many times in your Algebra 1 classes. Now, I've included a really nice detailed note page here on the second page, so please refer to that later if you have more questions about slope-intercept form. but for now I'm just going to give you the crash course. So step 1, let's go ahead and find m. So when we're finding m, first of all, we got to realize that m is talking about slope. So that is also known as the rate of change. The rate of change in here is going to be that $20 here, because that's how much he's adding every single week, and that's how much the account will change by every single week. Okay, and I do want to show you guys another way to find slope, just so you guys understand the concept. So slope is rise over run, right? And I know you guys have heard that one many times. Okay, so if we're working with rise over run, that means we're working with the up and down, and then the left to right. Rise is up and down, run is left and right. So the thing is, our rise is with respect to the money, because that's on the up and down axis, whereas our run is the money axis, or sorry, the week axis, right? Because that's going left to right. So we can go ahead and look up here. We know that the money changed by $20, okay? And we got that by doing 45 minus 25. And then the weeks in that time from 0 to 1 changed by 1. So we'll do 1 minus 0. Okay, and so this tells us that we get 20 over 1, which is 20. That's just another way to find the slope that I just wanted you guys to see. But you can always just recognize it really fast and really easy in these kinds of situations. Like, oh, we're adding 20 each time, well, that's the slope. All right, next is the b, which is the y-intercept. So I'll just put that here. So the y-intercept, that's why it's called slope-intercept form, right? Because the second part is the y-intercept. There's a couple ways you can think about this. We can think about it as the starting point. We can think about it as where x is 0. Okay, either of these are pretty valid. Now, when we try to find our y-intercept, that means it's where we hit the y-axis, right? So the point on the y-axis is this guy right over here. That's going to be our y-intercept. So if we look up at our table, we realize that the starting point at week 0, right, that's our x of 0, is $25. So we know that our b is going to be 25, because that's how much we started with. So our final equation is going to be y equals 20 for m, x plus b, which is our 25. And that is our final equation. Gosh, I'm really trying to make this neat, but sometimes it doesn't cooperate. All right, and that's it. Now, once you get really used to this, you can easily look at the problem and be like, okay, well, he started at $25, he changed by 20, boom, 20x plus 25. You guys will probably get really used to it and be able to do that, but in case you were a little rusty on slope-intercept, I really wanted to talk about it so that you guys can remember in that situation. But that's all for today. We will see you the next time.